What's good, YouTube? What's going on, Eagles Nation? I'm your man, your host, TK the Official, and welcome back to TK Sports Talk, all right? Listen, we got a big, giant game coming up, and that's no pun intended, all right? Big game against the Giants this week, the game that has big playoff implications. And with the playoffs coming up, I thought, let's talk about the playoffs, all right? Now, what I want to talk about, I have two questions for you, all right? Somebody let me know. Please, like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what's going on. Do you think that all four teams from the NFC East are going to make the playoffs? Are all four teams good enough to make the playoffs? All right? And secondly, if that is the case, and ain't nobody scared over here, because we don't talk scared business, all right? However, which team from the NFC East do you not want to make the playoffs? Which one of those teams do you not want to have to mess around and play in the playoffs? All right? Not that you can't beat them, but you just don't want to play them if you don't have to, all right? Because we know how division games are. They can be tricky for whatever reason. I want to go in and say that we're going to smack the Giants. And we should. And I believe that's what's going to happen. But if the Giants were to somehow find a way to stick around in the game, make it closer than what I thought it was going to be, would I be surprised? No. I'd just be aggravated as hell. All right? I'm going to just be honest with you. I'd be so irritated with the Eagles for playing down like that. Man, I'm going to have to show y'all one of these live one day when I get a chance to go live, man, in one of these games, man. I'll be going through it, man. Roller coaster type thing, man. All right? Well, we're going to take a look at the schedules coming up for Washington and for New York, all right? As Washington has 4 games remaining, as they're on a bye week this week, and the New York Giants have 5 games remaining, 1 upcoming this weekend against the aforementioned, our beloved Philadelphia Eagles, okay? All right? So, we're going to look at the schedules and see is it a realistic possibility. There are a lot of factors that's going to go into whether the Giants and the Washington Commanders can make the playoffs, all right? We got Seattle out there, okay? We got to see how they're going to shape out when it gets down to it. Will the Falcons be able to make the playoffs? They're giving up on Marcus Mariota now, all right? 5-8, but hey, they still got a chance, all right? Will the Lions make a push to make the playoffs? The Lions got a big game coming up against Minnesota, all right? That's another big, giant game this weekend. You know, I should do a little video about some other NFL teams, but I just be wanting to talk about the Birds a lot of times, so we'll see. Because that Lions-Vikings game, it's going to be big playoff implications there, all right? So, Philadelphia and Dallas. They're the 2 teams in the NFC East that are locks to make the playoffs, all right? Now, we've already played Washington twice this year. Will we play them for a 3rd time? We're about to play the New York Giants for the first time this year. We know we're going to end the season playing them for the last time. Will the Philadelphia Eagles need to play that game to get the number 1 seed? Will it be so close between Dallas, between the Vikings and the Eagles, that the Eagles will need to win the last game of the season against the New York Giants? Will the New York Giants need to win that last game of the season to make the playoffs, okay? And if the Eagles don't need that last game of the season and they've already got the number 1 seed locked up, will the Eagles rest their players and allow the Giants to then make it into the playoffs? Who knows what's going to go on? We're going to take a look, and I want y'all to comment. I want y'all to let me know who is going to make the playoffs from the NFC East, and who don't you want to make the playoffs? Cowboys fans, y'all can go ahead and chime in, because y'all at this particular point in time are a lock. I would love for y'all to fall off the cliff and die. Excuse me, not die. Well, not you Cowboy fans, just the team, okay? All right, I hate y'all, all right? I hate your fans too, all right? But I don't want you to die, because that's not cool, all right? However, all right, the Cowboys and the Eagles are locks. So this question is to Cowboys and Eagles fans, all right? Which one of these 2 teams, the Giants or the Commanders, do you not want to make the playoffs? Because one of them for sure is going to get in. Even if the New York Football Giants lose, let's take a look at the Giants' schedule real quick, all right? All right? So over the last 5 games of the season, all right, I think the Giants are locked to make the playoffs. Even if the Giants implode, and I'm talking going 1-5 throughout the rest of these games, all right? Because if you look at the schedule, they got to play the Philadelphia Eagles. That's a loss, all right? They got to play the Washington Commanders. That's a pick'em game. I don't know who's going to win that game, all right? But let's just say that's a win, okay? All right? Because, damn, they didn't really lose. No, that's a loss, all right? Let's just be real. After losing to the Philadelphia Eagles and then having to play again on the 3rd consecutive back-to-back week against the NFC East teams, and it's going to be a physical smash-mouth game against the Eagles, that's going to be a loss, all right? Then the Giants are going to have to play the Minnesota Vikings. That's a loss, man, okay? I'm sorry, that's a loss, all right? And then the Giants are going to have to play the Colts. It just depends on if the Colts have anything to play for. I got to think Jeff Saturday is going to have that team ready to play. The Colts were ready to play against Dallas until the fourth quarter, and then Matt Ryan happened. The Colts were ready to play against us. You know, everyone talks about how we won that game 17 to 16. So, tough game. All right, I like to lean the Colts. I mean, the Colts have a talented football team. They just haven't been producing. So, and then the Giants have to play the Eagles one last time. Again, will the Philadelphia Eagles need that game? Could the Giants go 0-5 in their last 5? Would that be the Giants going 1-8-9 to finish out the last 10? Even if the Giants go 0-5 and they end the season 8-9-1, is that still good enough for them to make the playoffs?
Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
8-9-1. At 8-9-1, can the Giants make the playoffs? Let's take a look at the playoff picture. 8-9-1. All right, so let's see who's in the wild card spot right now. You have the Dallas Cowboys. You have the Seattle Seahawks. You have the New York Football Giants. And just sitting outside of that are the Washington Commanders. Now, the two next teams are the Detroit Lions and are the Atlanta Falcons, which have sat down Marcus Mariota for the rest of the season. All right. Now, again, it just depends on what happens with the Lions, all right? Now, we could throw up the Lions schedule up there to just take a look and see at the Lions' next couple games and if they even have a chance of winning. Because if the Giants go 0-5, what do the Lions have to do? The Lions have an even smaller margin because they already have these losses, okay? So the Lions could only lose possibly 2 more games in that scenario if the Giants were 0-5. I mean, it's so crazy, but the Giants could actually go 0-5. But if the Giants... they just got to win one game, to be honest, from how I see it. They just got to win one game, and that'll put them in the playoffs. The Washington Commanders have the much more easier path to get in the playoffs based off the rest of their schedule, all right? Because it's not looking good for New York. So will all 4 teams, back to the original question, all right? Now, you've all may have commented already, but will all 4 teams make the NFC playoffs? It's looking like a big, strong possibility. All right. The more and more that I see it, it's just looking like a possibility. Again, now we have to take a look at Seattle's schedule to see how Seattle's going to finish. Let's throw Seattle's schedule up there. So when you look at it, the Seattle Seahawks play a pivotal role in deciding who or if all 4 teams from the NFC East will make the playoffs. And based off Seattle's schedule coming down the stretch of these last 5 games, I don't see Seattle being able to make the playoffs. And this is where the tie comes in at, all right? Nobody likes to play for a tie. Let's just keep it 100. A tie sucks, right? What do they say a tie is like? It's like kissing your sister, all right? However, it's not a loss, okay? So it's not the worst thing in the world. It's half of a win, all right? So if the Skins end up with 8 wins, 8 losses, if all teams end up with 8 losses, but the Commanders, excuse me to all my Indian tribe that's out there, I apologize. If the Commanders and the New York Football Giants have 1 tie and all 3 teams have 8 losses, y'all know the math and y'all know what's going on, all right? So it really depends on what's happening with Seattle. So Seattle has Carolina, has the Rams, has the San Francisco 49ers, has the Jets, and has the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know where the schedule ranks as between 1 and 32 as the toughest schedules, but it's got to be one of the toughest schedules in the league. So, with all that being said, if you ask me, I think all 4 teams this year, I think all 4 teams from the NFC East this year are going to make the playoffs. I think all 4 are going to make it, even if the Giants go 0-5. If Seattle drops 3 games, the Giants are in. No matter what happens. It's crazy how it works out that way. All because of that tie. That tie is going to screw Seattle. It's going to help the Giants. It's going to help the Washington football team. Or the Commanders, man. Hey, so I'm going to be honest. I do not, if I had to pick one of these 2 teams, between the Giants and the Commanders, I do not want to play the Washington Commanders. All right? I do not want to play against Tyler Heineke. I do not want to play against Deron Payne. I do not want to play against Jonathan Allen. I don't want to play against Vontez Sweat. I don't want to play against Chase Young when he finally is ready to play at that particular point in time, because we didn't play him this year, all right? I don't want to do it. I don't want to play against Scary Terry. I mean, the man's name is Scary Terry. So, why would you want to play against somebody like that? All right? I don't want to have to play against Jahan Dotson. All right? I don't want to have to play against Brian Robinson. All right? I don't. Now, full confidence in the world that we can smash Washington if we play them again for a third time. But they are a division team, and we do know how tricky those games can be. Now, I do believe that the Eagles are head and shoulders above Washington. However, I just don't want to have to play them. And that's the question. So if I got to answer the question between them and New York, I mean, I can handle Daniel Jones. I can handle Saquon Barkley. Because Saquon Barkley, and shouts out to Saquon for having a comeback season, all right? No doubt eligible for one of the comeback players of the year this year. But you're going to have to be LaDainian Tomlinson, brother. You're going to have to catch, pass, and throw. You're going to have to do it all for that team to win, all right? Because there's no receivers on the outside that scares anybody. No tight end that scares anybody. And your offensive line is so-so, all right? So the running yards that you're getting, shouts out to you, Saquon, because that line ain't helping you do that, all right? So I can much easily see the Eagles bouncing the team like that out, which is why the Eagles are going to... It's going to be a massacre on Sunday. I think I got the Eagles 31-10. This is not the show for that, but 31-10 Philadelphia coming up this Sunday against the New York Football Giants, man. And Giants fans, if you don't like that, man, whatever, man. What you going to do? Leave a comment, I'll read it, and I'll even reply. I'm your boy, man. It's TK the Official. Looks like all 4 teams from the NFC East are going to get in. If you don't think so, let me know. Comment below. I'm out.